Hey, everybody. Happy, fabulous Friday it is. It's a wonderful Friday. It's a Sharon G Friday. And if you're wondering where Sharon is for this episode and this viewing and this time of Keep Your Power, Sharon is, as usual, enjoying her millions and millions of dollars, living the lavish life of luxury. She is somewhere in Cancun or the French Riviera or Harlem. I'm Aaron Wells. I am in for Sharon G today. Sharon is out and about doing some needed self-care, which we all try to make sure that we have here at PRN. And so, as you know, Sharon and I are twins, right? You get it? Aaron and Sharon. And so I am here today to stand in for Sharon on Keep Your Power. So Keep Your Power is PRN's 10-hour class about the good, the bad, and the ugly of our emotions. Just being able to utilize skills, resources, to tools out of our toolbox to make sure that, shared this in the class yesterday, to make sure that our emotions always understand they belong to us, we don't belong to them. Helping our emotions to understand and to know who is the boss. Helping our emotions, using our emotions in a way that works for us and not against us. Always understanding that we are emotional creatures. We are emotional beings. This is how we're wired. It's how we're made. It's how our mind works. It's how we respond. And we're giving those things are part of us all for good reasons. We want to make sure that when the experiences and the triggers happen in our lives, that our emotions don't override our wise mind and that our emotions work for us, right? And don't work against us. This is a 10-hour class about the good, the bad, and the ugly of our emotions, right? And so Keep Your Power is a certificate class toward peer support certification. Or if you need it for something else, or you just want to take the 10 weeks, get a certificate and say, yes, I learned something, I did something, I added to my toolbox, then here we are to help. I'll give you information about how to receive your certificate after completion at the end of our time together. So Keep Your Power. PRN. I'm here for Sharon. This is Aaron, Sharon's twin, who's here to spend time today talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of our emotions and how to always remind our emotions they belong to us. We don't belong to them. We are the boss. We get to determine how that happens. So we got a lot to talk about today. And looking for a really good flow. If you come on board, please share this conversation on your social media platforms. And please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, right? We want to lift those numbers up on the YouTube channel for the purpose of getting our conversations of wellness and recovery into the homes of others. Now, I'm not sure, in all honesty, about what's happening on our Wi-Fi today and input. So going to hope that this doesn't freeze up and going to hope that we can have a good time without any technical difficulties. So let's do the thing and move forward. So I was talking to Sharon and saying, asking, okay, Sharon, what do you want to do today? How do you want to set this up? What is it that you want me to share? And so as we talk, Sharon asked me, her twin Aaron, to share with you some tips. I think this is a good, nice Friday. It's over 75 degrees. The sun is out. Not as much pollen as it was last week, but it's still out there, right? Boo. It's, we get to hang out together. So this is a good day for tips. I want to give you some tips. If I were the weatherman, I'd give you tips about enjoying the day, I want to give you some tips. I like saying that. I want to give you some tips. Tips about staying positive in recovery. That's what we want to talk about today, seriously. But we're going to have fun doing it because that's what I do. We want to stay positive in recovery, gang of mine. And we have some tips, right? We have 7 tips for staying positive through the recovery journey. Listen, the recovery journey is not a cakewalk, but it's to be enjoyed. And one of the things that, and this is the gray hairs talking, the lived experience, oftentimes we do not enjoy the journey because we're so focused on the end result, the end game. If we don't enjoy the journey, when we get to the end game, I can promise you from lived experience, we won't appreciate as much if we don't enjoy the journey. The journey does have ups and downs, the journey of recovery. The road to recovery has a lot of stuff on it, right? We're getting rid of some things. We're picking up some new things, good, hopefully. We're learning some things. We're unlearning some things, a lot of emotions. Man, just to get on that journey, get on that road, we did a lot of damage, if not to others, to ourselves, to our communities. We have so many things to repair, reboot, restore, reconcile. And so the journey, though it is a worthy journey, it is an honorable journey, it is a good journey. It is a good journey. It is a good journey. But sometimes that journey gets a little tough. It's tough because people are on it. It's tough because people are on it, and we all bring our stuff. So if I'm unloading stuff, if I'm getting rid of the things in my life that are not needful or not healthy or not conducive to my wellness, and on that same road, I have to pick up the things that are healthy. I have to pick up the things that are good for me. I have to pick up the things that can help me grow and sustain wellness. Well, if I'm getting rid of stuff on that journey, other people are. And recovery is not a journey I take by myself. Can't. Because part of the strength of our recovery journey are our supports. And our supports, the most impactful supports, have lived experience. So that means I'm on a road with a whole bunch of people getting rid of stuff. But I'm also on a road with a bunch of people who are experienced and know what to pick up. Are you with me? It's a lot of stuff out there. Now, because there's a lot of stuff out there, there's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of feelings, there's a lot of damage, along with the hope and the resilience and the strength. It's all kind of out there. And so that journey can get kind of tough, sometimes not knowing what to pick up and what to put down. Sometimes not knowing when to pick it up and when to put it down, right? And there's always the people stuff, the people particle, the people variable. The road to recovery can be kind of rough. However, learning how to stay positive, choosing to stay positive on our road to recovery is half of the journey. Being positive, staying positive, because we know life happens. And so we can't stop there, though. There's a life happens, but recovery does too. Life happens, but recovery does too. And when I learn how to intercourse, I love the word. When I learn how to intercourse the two, when I learn how to put those two together, life happens, and I begin to call life recovery. I don't see life as the issues of life. I see life as the fullness of life. And that's where I find my recovery. That's where I find my wellness. That's where I find my healing. And so I just want to share some tips today on what we do to stay positive through the recovery journey. All right. I want to say good morning to Karen. How are you, Karen? I'll be sending you a link as soon as I finish this to hang out at 1. Michelle, good morning. Hugs and kisses to you. Darlene, my people, what's up? And I'm just glad that all of you are on. Thank you so much. And anyone who comes, please share this. Please share this on your social media platform, and then ask them to share. And then tell them to share, right? Let's keep sharing it, and let's go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. All right, we want to talk about it. I want to talk about these steps and staying positive. what I was alluding to is sometimes we get stuck on our recovery journey. Our efforts get stuck. It's life, y'all. It's life. My grandfather was a plumber and he worked on a lot of construction sites. So I got to look at blueprints at an early age. And I would watch people on construction sites. It was in Cleveland, Ohio, when I used to hang out with them. And I would watch people on construction sites, the electricians and the carpenters and the plumbers and the different people, the brick masons, just watching the different people moving. I would watch them hit problems where the blueprint said something else, but the actual building took them in a different direction. So now the vent wasn't supposed to be here, or how are we going to run the ducts here, or we didn't take in consideration, da, 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 da. And so they would get stuck. They had a blueprint. They had an intent of building, but somewhere along the line, things would happen and they would get stuck. What I learned and understood was at an early age, because you're stuck, you can't stop. Because you're stuck, you can't get stopped. You just can't stop. You can't let anything stop you. And what I also learned, I would watch them look at this blueprint. And at the end of the day, any problem that came up, they bounced off of the blueprint. You see this blueprint? I got a blueprint in front of me right in my mind. You see this blueprint? This is what we're building. So Mr. Electrician, your problem, Mr. Plumber, your problem, we're going to figure that out. But this blueprint is where we're going. Our journey of recovery, we see wellness on that journey, on that road. You do, I do. And sometimes we get stuck because of different things. Our efforts get stuck. We might hear a no we wasn't expecting to hear. We might lose a loved one. Some of our past stuff might catch up to us. A whole bunch of might not be today. I just might not feel like this whole recovery thing today. It happens. Let's be honest about it, right? What we want to do in our toolbox is to have some things that when that does happen, and it will happen sooner or later, it's called life. When life happens, I want to make sure that recovery continues. You with me? So we want to talk about how to sustain recovery when things get tough. We've got the blueprint. We know what we're trying to build, but there's some things we didn't figure out in the blueprint, and they have hit us. They are here. They are present. What do we do then? I got some tips for you, and I hope that they help. They've helped me. I hope they help you. And I've been in building wellness for a long time, and I love it. I love the journey. I was in the mirror this morning, just jamming and dancing, anticipating my wonderful day, because this wellness thing is great. And yesterday was a really tough day because of what we do. We help people, and we help people in tough situations, and sometimes we absorb that. So it was tough. And I could have, in my own personal recovery, absorbed it to the point where it slowed my day down. I went into my toolbox, grabbed some of these tips I'm going to share with you. And today, here I am, standing in for my twin Sharon, because I'm Aaron and she's Sharon, so that we can give you some of these tips. All right, you with me? Let's make it happen, Captain. All right, so tip number 1, no specific order. I always say that. However, some are important. In building, you have to have this to build that. You need this to build that. So they're in no particular order, but you grab out of these tips the ones that will help you in tough times. Number 1, find, create, and invest in a long term of happiness. Say what? Find, create, and invest in a long term of happiness. We can actually cut it off and stop right here. Choose to be happy. Choose to be happy today. That's all you have is today. Yesterday is whoop, and tomorrow's not here yet, right? Choose to be happy today. And in choosing it, watch this now. We've got 3 things. Find. That means you got to look for it. You have to look for it. You have to look for it. You have to look for it. Don't just wait for happiness to come. Go look for happiness. You know what I did this morning? I know you want to know. So I just turned my phone on and I go to YouTube and I kick my music. I just kick my music and I get my rhythm and I jam and I'm waking up out of that sleep and preparing for my day and loving me, right? I'm finding my happiness and my prayers for me, my prayer time and my music, right? And just good thoughts about my daughters and my community. And I'm finding, I'm looking for in my space happiness, things to make me happy. And one of my favorite t-shirts on today. I got the sneaks I want on. I'm happy, created my happiness today, right? And so I created it by looking for it. And once I looked for it, right? Once I found what I wanted to be a part of my happiness, I started shaping it. So you want to find it. That means you got to look for it. In order to find it, you got to look for it. And once you look for it and you find it, then you shape it. You create it. Now dig this, right? Then you invest. How do you invest in happiness? We're going to talk about that in a minute, but you have to invest. You got to find your happiness. You want to create, shape it for you. There's your recovery, your wellness, and then invest in it so it can sustain. So I'll have it later in the day so I can have it tomorrow. I want to invest in my happiness. I want to take what I got, what I have, who I am, and my whole day pour into it, right? So we're starting here with number one because we're talking about long-term happiness. That's the happiness that I have in life when I'm whistling and dancing and tough stuff is coming. And watch this. It may stop me for a minute and some tears, right? And some hurt feelings or some discouragement, even some grieving. Something happens in life. But because I have long-term happiness, I'm looking past those things, knowing that they may come, and I'm going to find a reason to be happy. In this is where we start talking about the joy. And I remember Lisa Kay doing a Just for Today, talking about the difference between happiness and joy. I don't want to use them as synonyms here, but what I do want to say is that when I have that joy of recovery and wellness, that I'm going to be well, that I can keep finding happiness as I need it because it's springing out of the joy that I have. You flowing with me? So I want to, tip number one, if I'm going to get through these tough days of my recovery and my wellness, these tough moments of my recovery and my wellness, I want to find, create, and invest in long-term happiness. I think I'm gonna like this today, hanging out with y'all. This, as a matter of fact, I might tell Sharon I'd hang out with her more often. Yo, Kim Porter, what's happening with you? Happiness for me is good fellowship, music, family, and good food. See what I'm saying, Kim? You got it, right? With Kim, you and I, we hang together, right? We go back like rocking chairs. So we flow, right? Plus we about the same age. So we get this, right? Our recovery journey that is good fellowship. See, Kim, that's how we invest, right? That's how we invest. We go and we find, we create, and then we invest by being around people who can keep pouring into me and I keep pouring into you, right? And then the music, girl, what? You don't know? I listened to some Gap Band this morning, early in the morning. Y'all don't know nothing about that. And so then our family, right, Kim, we reach out to those who love, who care, and who are concerned about us. And then it's always the good food. And I promise you today, payday, Aaron gonna eat well. So let's keep flowing, family. So the tip number one, find, create, and invest. Invest is important. You find it, which means you got to look for it. Create means once you find it, you shape it for you. Invest means you keep giving it what it needs. You keep putting fuel on the fire. You keep feeding the logs of happiness so that happiness can be long-term and it can last past the tough times that you're going through. That's tip number one. Let's get to number two. Tip number two, prioritize connecting to others. Goes back to that fellowship, goes back to hanging out, goes back to the support. Prioritize connecting to others, making meaningful relationships, and spending time with positive people. This is tip number two for the tough times. Who are the people in your life that support you? Who are the people in your life that love you? Who are the people in your life that lift you up? Who are the people in your life that you can lean on? Who are the people in your life that you don't mind leaning on you, right? So we want to prioritize. There's some key words in this, so let's grab them. Let's grab those key words. We want to prioritize connecting to others. Prioritize, it's important. It has value, so it is important. It is meaningful. I get something good out of this. I'm going to prioritize connecting to others, right? Not just anybody, but those who are building wellness and recovery, non-judgmental. There's some people doing some good work, but you can't be beating me up with words. I need you to encourage because I want to encourage you. And that's what feeds me. And I want to be able to give you what feeds you. So we want to prioritize connecting to others. Now watch this. These are actions. These are things I have to do. Recovery and wellness healing does not just happen. Addiction didn't just happen. So we have to now prioritize connecting to others. Dig this. And there's an action, making meaningful relationships. The result of my prioritizing connected to others, I want to now I want to put some effort and time in. I want to give, right? Relationship. I want to follow the tenets of relationship. I want to give. I want to be able to share. I want to be able to talk. I want to be able to invest, making meaningful relationships and spending time with positive people. We don't have, I don't want to start that. Let's say this. The time that we have, we want to spend it in the presence of positive people. People who are always looking, long-term happiness is where we started, right? Long-term, relational. People who, if I'm only around you once a month, that's impactful. If I'm only around you once a week, it's impactful, right? It doesn't have to be life-changing, but it would be great if it would be life-sustaining. It would be great if it gave something or gives me the opportunity to give something to you. Tip number 2, prioritize, make important, connecting to others, making, there's an action, meaningful relationships, and spending time with positive people. I'm liking these tips. I'm liking these tips. I want to hang in there. Y'all with me? If you're with me, let me know on chat. Please share the conversation and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, let's go. Number 3, right? Tip number 3. It's a biggie. I know you say, Aaron, it's always a biggie. That's right, because it's important, or I wouldn't be giving it to you. Tip number 3. All right. Tip number 1, find, create, and invest in a long term of happiness. Tip number 2, prioritize connecting to others, making meaningful relationships, and spending time with positive people. Tip number 3, make time to give back. Make time to give back. Make time to give back. I often hear people say, I don't have the time. The reality of it is we make time for what's important. We have, it's a matter of what we'll do with it, how we'll shape it. My coworker and friend and mentor, my dude, James Searcy, always says, people do what's important to them. It's not that I don't have the time. It really isn't. It's will I make the time? And so giving back is called, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but it's called gratitude and appreciation. I'm so thankful that my life is not where it used to be. I'm so thankful my days of depression are not as many as they used to be. This is personal. I'm this Aaron. This is for real. I'm so thankful that relationships that were broken are now restored. This is Aaron. This is like for real. I'm also glad that relationships that I didn't need are gone. For real. So when my giving back is the appreciation of everything that got me here, and here I am. I'm thinking well. I'm smelling well, right? I'm feeling well, and I'm looking well. I'm living well. My appreciation is I want to give back. I want to help somebody move into the position of wellness that I find myself in. I want to help somebody find their way to be able to help them create, to help them find and then to create and to invest in their own wellness and recovery. How can I, there's this, we hear it, right? I got it, so I can give it away. The only way I can keep it is to give it away. Yeah, that's how we do it. Each one reach one. And you can't do that without giving back some way, somehow. I'm not a dog lover, but I know people who are. And I know people who are shut in with dogs, walk their dogs. When you go to the grocery store, they have a buy one, get one free, then get two and give one away to somebody that you know that probably is struggling to do that or just can't, right? We have ways to give back. But we have to make the time, and that's part of our recovery. Our wellness. It doesn't matter what we're recovering from. It's not complete if I'm not giving back to show appreciation for what got me where I am. All right. So tip number one: find, create, and invest in long-term of happiness. Tip number two, prioritize connecting to others, making meaningful relationships, and spending time with positive people. Tip number three, make time to give back. All right. So let's see. Let's get to tip number four before we do. Hey, Amanda, what's up with you? Good to see you, buddy-o. Thank you, Karen. We help people create their own recovery path. Absolutely. My guy Izzy's on. That's my dude. Yeah, this is what we do, gang of mine. This is how we move this thing forward. We're talking about the tough times in recovery and wellness. It happens when we get stuck. What are some of the tips? What are some of the things in our toolbox to help us move through the tough times? Okay, so we're on tip number four. Have a focus on your health. And so now we want to talk about that physical dimension of wellness, the 8 dimensions of wellness, which is what we build our platform of classes and conversations. That is what PRN SAMHSA's 8 dimensions of wellness is what we build philosophy of wellness and recovery. We build from that, right? I always say there may be more than 8, but we have the 8 that we build on. And one is the physical dimension of wellness that deals with your rest, your sleep, nutrition, right? Your diet, your exercise, whatever that looks like. I'm exercising. That's all you're gonna get today. Our exercise. Tip number 4, let there be a focus. Now watch. It doesn't say let it be the focus. There's some of us, their wellness and recovery is all about the weights. It's all about the running, the bike, the gym. Good for you. Ain't I? That ain't me. However, though it is not a priority, though it is not the priority, it's a priority. Let me rephrase that. Though it is not the priority for Aaron, it is a priority. My health, my wellness. This is pretty much at the top. So all I'm saying is, if tip number 4, when you're stuck, step back and make sure you're healthy. When you're stuck in your wellness and your recovery, if things aren't going the way you want, we don't give up. We take a deep breath and we spend a day or two, a moment or two, focusing on us, focusing on what we're eating. Here's something I want to give you. And I shared this with a gentleman a few years ago. Those of you who know the Central Avenue area of Charlotte, you know where the Salvation Army is on Central Avenue. I was talking with a guy who was at the Salvation Army. We were sitting down like we owned the joint, and I was just there to do some peer support and support him. And at that time, the apartments, which are up now, across the street was just being built. So it was like 5 years ago. And he and I, on a rainy day, I went to support him. This is when PRN was over at 1041. I went around the corner to support him. And so we're sitting there on the couches, acting like we own the Salvation Army. And we're just chopping it up. And so we looked at the apartments on this rainy day, and construction was still going on. And I just had this God-inspired epiphany for me about wellness and recovery. And that is that in that building, because of the rain, the work that day or for the next few days, it ceased. The physical labor, whatever the contractors was doing, whatever the builders was doing, whatever was happening to build those apartments stopped because of the inclement weather. What did not happen was, because they were stuck, they did not tear it all down and have to build it back up 3 days after it stopped raining. When it stopped raining, wherever they were stuck at, they just kept building from that point. I know in some spaces that when people struggle or relapse or have a tough day, you're taught you got to start all over again from that point. You go to zero. Doesn't make sense. The rest of the world doesn't happen that way. When that construction site shut down for the rain, it didn't mean that the construction site had to be destroyed. It was a tough day. They were stuck. And what they did when it stopped raining, when the crisis passed over, when the storm clouds passed over, they kept building from where they stopped. When we are stopped because of the storm clouds, focus on you. Focus on your health. It's a great time. And so here's tip number 4, right? Whenever the time permits, focus on your health. But remember, we just talked about this in number 3. Just like you have to make time to give back, you got to make time to take care of you. You flowing with me? Tip number 4 is so important. It's impossible. Yeah, I said it. It's not an overgeneralization. I said what? It is impossible if you don't feel well to be well. And so we have to continue to work on feeling well so that we can honestly be well. I don't know what feeling well means for you. Maybe it's taking your meds. Maybe it's getting in the gym. Maybe it's how you watch your diet. Maybe it's your rest. All of those are part of the physical dimension of wellness. But whatever you need to do to focus on your health, tip number 4 is please focus on your health. Because when tough times come, it will help you, right, to get through because you'll be feeling well. And what we want to do is feel well so we can be well, so we can do well. Yeah, I like sharing that. My buddy Izzy says, from the darkness comes light and a path from where you believe in yourself. Yep. And a path from where you believe in yourself to get where you go. Faith in all is the goal. Absolutely. Purpose to follow through. I'm loving this conversation, y'all. Let's keep it flowing. Tip number 5. Now we have 7, but I have a special gift for you today. Tip number 5, discover your goals, hobbies, and self-care flow. Discover your goals. Now, we're seeing this, right? It tells you to find, create, invest, prioritize, make, discover. It's action to recovery and wellness. And when tough times come, they're designed to stop the action of recovery. We can't let it, because the action can look so many different ways, right? Sometimes you make time. Sometimes you just discover. Sometimes you find. Sometimes you create. Sometimes you invest. But there are things to always do for you to continue building the wellness, the recovery, and the healing that you want and that will be sustained. Tip number 5 is this: discover your goals. Let's find out what we want to do, where we want to go. Often I ask people who are building recovery in all arenas, right? It's not just substance use or alcohol use. It's not just mental health diagnosis or mental health wellness or unwellness. People recover from all types of things and look for wellness in all types of arenas of life. So often I'll ask someone, so what is it that you want to do? I really don't know. Where are you trying to take this thing? What's your end game? What are you trying to build? I don't know. Guess what? That is all right. Because now what we get to do in our giving back is help them discover. Those who are with me for a while know I have a yada yada woo woo saying, right? That in growing up in North Philly, we use the term yada yada woo woo to describe all types of things. And I ask people, what is your yada yada woo woo? And what that means is, what is it that you want to do? What have you always wanted to do? I don't know. Well, let's discover it together. What do you like? What are your passions? What turns you on? You like ice cream? You like baseball? You like throwing rocks? You like climbing trees? You like painting? Whatever it is, let's talk about it. When you saw yourself as a child, when you saw your life, what is it that you wanted to do? Oh man, that's foolish. I can't do that. Well, let's talk about it. Let's discover. Let's talk about it. Let's hang in there and let's together discover our goals. That's a great thing to do when you're stuck. When the storm clouds come and you can't build today, I can get in discovery mode and begin to look at my world and the possibilities. And this is when our supports come, because sometimes we get a little beat up, we get a little discouraged, and we close ourselves off to the possibilities. This is when those who have been there and done that, just like that, can come and say, hey, I was like that. I couldn't figure it out. And then I began to discover. And we can show others how to discover their goals and their hobbies and their self-care flow. For me, music has gotten me through some of the toughest times. Being able to build out and to be able to look at. So I put my music on and then begin to write. Writing has helped me through some of my toughest times. Cooking has helped me back in the day. It really did. During my tough times, man, I'm gonna fix something. I'm gonna create something. It was a hobby that I really enjoy. Something else that has always been a relaxation for me. Haven't done it in a while, just from a time perspective. I love detailing cars. I really do. It's a thinking process, and it's called detailing because you pay attention to the details. And that's how I think in those terms, from visioning to be able to think about things. And so what if this, and if we add this, and if we take this away, well, what if this? That's for Aaron, right? So I discover the things I want, but also the ways I want to do them, and the things that bring me passion and joy. And they also help with my self-care because they allow my mind to be satisfied with me. Tip number 5, discover your goals, your hobbies, and your self-care flow. All right. What we doing? Maria, what's up, buddy? How are you? Much love to you. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Make sure you're sharing, and make sure, please, that you're sharing this and that you go to our YouTube channel at Promise Resource Network and subscribe. Number six, connect to your spiritual self. Now, another of the 8 dimensions of wellness. Now, I want to give you this, right? I'm going to spend a couple of minutes on here because sometimes this can be taboo for people to talk spirituality in recovery, and I think that is ludicrous. Spirituality does not have to be religion. If that's your groove, that's your groove. Spirituality does not have to be your philosophies or your theologies. But if that's your groove, that's your groove. But that's not everybody's groove. Spirituality, according to the 8 dimensions, is a little larger, and it talks about our purpose. It talks about our purpose, discovering our purpose for our lives, to be able to see something larger, right? I find recovery to be larger. I find wellness to be larger than just my personal philosophies. I embrace it. It's so much larger. And so there is this spiritual essence of recovery and wellness. I'm talking about Aaron, so I'm not, putting anything on you. I'm just sharing with you that when I began to connect to wellness in the sense, and I do have some beliefs. I have some beliefs in God. For me, God is my source, but I know who God is for me. That doesn't make that God for you. But what we can connect on is the fact that there's something bigger than us. When I played ball, I could jump, and the highest I could jump is probably at my peak was the middle of the square on a backboard. But I've never been able to jump and touch the sky. I can jump into, I can't do it now, but I could jump back in the day and touch the middle of the square. Man, I could do that on my best day. But I could never jump and touch the sky. So my limits for what I knew was right here at that backboard. That was my limits. But there was something I always saw higher than that, right? So my physical limits took me here. My mind and my imagination took me here. So what my physical body couldn't attain, my spiritual could. Our spiritual self is more than what you see. And when we dig in on those tough days and we decide for some reason, whatever that is, to get up and give it another shot. When our backs are against the wall with decisions and triggers and life situations, and we find a way to fight through that and get on our groove of wellness and recovery. And we're using our resources and we're building and we're feeling well and we're living well and we're thinking well and we want to be healed. When we are motivated like that, it's something bigger than us that's hanging out with us. There's something greater than us that drives us past right now. Connect to your spiritual self. I don't know what your spiritual self is. I would be lying to sit and tell you or just feed you a bunch of stuff. I know what works for me. I know what gets me up in the morning. I know what moves me through the day. I know where my compassion comes from, my empathy. I know where it comes from, my love of people. I know what my source is and where it comes from. I know when I have dreams and goals and visions of doing great things, I know the source of that for me. Find yours. But wherever you find it, understand that you have a purpose. Connect to that purpose during your tough times. It will energize, it will motivate, it will give you what you need to walk through. Izzy, a moment ago, I read, talked about faith. For me, faith is the key. And my daughter gave me this wonderful thing that says, faith does not make it easy. No, faith does not make it easy. Faith makes it doable. I stick to that in my tough times, right? Whatever your faith is, or whatever your faith in, just allow it to be just a little bigger today than it was yesterday. Because there's some great things available for us, some we haven't even seen yet, right? And so my question always is, why not you? So that spiritual side allows us to explore. That spiritual side allows us to fight through. That spiritual side allows us to connect to something bigger than us so that we don't just touch the middle of the square of the backboard. We can touch the sky. All right. That was number 6. We're going to keep it moving, keep it going. All right. Vanessa Wells is here. Hey, Vanessa Wells. This is Aaron Wells. All right. Friend of my buddy Burroughs. Thank you for hanging out with us today. My little homie is here, Ariel. That's my people. Glad everybody's on. We're talking about the seven tips, right? We're talking about just 7 tips that when things get tough, if we go into our resource, our tool bag and bring these things out, these are just tips to help us through the tough times of our wellness and recovery. We all face them, but we can get through them, right? You know how I know? Look back. Just take a look back. Don't stare back. Don't hang back. But just take a glance back at your life resume. Remember when you said, this is the toughest day of my life. I've never been through anything like this. How am I going to get through this? Here you are today. And then you count how many of those days in your life. Right? I'm 62. I've had plenty of, this is the toughest day of my life. I've had plenty of, how am I going to get through this? I've had plenty, oh man, how am I going to survive this? And yet here I am today. If it can happen for me, it can happen for you. And so we get through those tough times. We keep building our wellness and recovery, right? We create the foundation so that when tough times come, even if I slow down, I've got something to continue building from. All right, we have talked about our 7 tips. We're going to shoot through them real quick because we're going to hit number 7. Number 1, find, create, and invest in a long term of happiness. Tip number 2, prioritize connecting to others, making meaningful relationships, and spending time with positive people. Tip number 3, make time to give back. Tip number 4, have a focus on your health. We're talking about the physical dimension of wellness there. Tip number 5, discover your goals, your hobbies, and your self-care flow. You know, I like that word flow, right? You find your self-care flow. That you get into your groove of self-care, where self-care is just something you do. It's just a part of it. And dig this, right? You know when it's not happening because you create the flow that affects you in a positive way. And when it's not happening, you're out of your flow. And all you got to do is get back in your flow and do those things that are best for you. That's number 5. Number 6 is a biggie, right? For some of us, we start there, but it's in there. Connect to your spiritual self. There's some times when tough times come and it's not a bad thing. The tough times sometimes come just to make you pause, take a moment, appreciate, breathe a little bit, look around, grab hold of what you need. All right, number 7, discover and operate through your strengths. If you hang with me on any level, you know that this is big for me. Matter of fact, this is so big, I'm gonna make this tea time. I haven't had tea time all day. That's how big this one is. I had to take tea on you. All right, check this out. So often, because of looking back at our life's resume and all that we've been through, all that has happened to us, all that we've done, we can't leave that out. When we put this together, many times some of the damage that's done or some of the residue is our self-esteem has taken a hit. Our belief in self has taken a hit. Many times because we keep hearing, because of life, we hear of all the negative things that are attached. And sometimes we even take that on as our identity. I am here to tell you, stop it. No more. Discover and operate through your strengths. We all have them. We are not a deficit-based people. We are a strengths-based people. We are people of wellness and recovery. We have fought through what others dare not. We have journeyed through trials and roads and places where the weak can't go. We have been to some places, whether it's been through substance use or alcohol use, whether it's been through addictions, whether it's been through our mental health challenges, whether it's been through loss of loved one, whether it's been through our financial, whatever it is, we who are in wellness and recovery are the champions. We have fought through. You know what that means? That means we are strong. We are superheroes without capes and tights. We are, well, some of us wear tights, but we are superheroes. And so what we do is not operate. Now, we're not saying we don't have things to work on. We're not saying that there might be a deficit or a weakness here or there. We're saying we don't base our lives on that and we don't stress that. We are strong and our life resume tells us we are, and we celebrate that. So we have to help each other discover and then operate through our strengths. Everybody that's listening to me, watching this, sharing this, everybody who will receive this, you have something you're good at. And it's not negative. And we don't have to be cynical and say, yeah, I was good at. We don't want to hear that anymore. That's the old me. I'm talking about the new me. And dig this, the stuff that you're good at, it was already there. But the traumas of our lives, the decisions of our lives, the circumstances of our lives, the residue covered our strengths. But we fought through. In wellness and recovery, we push through. And now we want the world to know, listen, you can look at my resume, you can look at my life experience, my lived experience, but what you're seeing is the strength that got me here. Everybody with me? So from here on out, if you haven't been, and those who hang with me know, I ain't trying to hear about how weak. I'm not trying to hear about how beat up. We'll use that. We'll use that to build. Everything is used to build. You have strengths. And I'm going to help you emphasize those. And if you don't see them, I'm going to see them in you. And we're going to start from that point. What can be done, what the possibilities are. Discover and I get a little passionate about this one. Yeah, because it's for real. My daughters will tell you, you operate from your strengths. Now, here's the deal. When you build those support networks, and Kim talked about fellowship and family, when you build the support networks, whatever that is, family, friends, extended family, whatever, right? Your support networks and recovery, wellness, whatever. When you operate from your strengths and the people, the positive people in your life operate from their strengths shore up your weaknesses. We roll as a squad. People hear me say, we're a squad. So you're flowing with me? My sidekick, my co-director, Lisa, I'm gonna throw this out there because it's practical. In our work environment, right? Lisa is so detailed and organized. I am so let's get the damn thing done. All right. So you got two different ends of the spectrum. Lisa is detailed. She wants to know everything. She wants to control everything. She wants to make sure everything goes right. She has this book. I'm looking like she's sitting over there. She just writes there. I have this big board. I got stuff on here that's just, I'm a let's get the damn thing done person. You with me? I have two questions in life. What happened? What we going to do about it? Everything in between those two questions is Lisa. It's our yin and our yang. So with my strength and her strength shores up my weakness because I don't always pay attention to detail trying to get the stuff done. I'm gonna get it done. Everybody know me, know I'm gonna get it done. But here's the deal. You don't get it done well if you don't pay attention to the details. You with me? So I need the Lisa of my life to be able to, from this work perspective, I need Lisa to help me because she's detail oriented. I get to shore up Lisa from the point of, okay, we got the details now, let's move and make it happen. You and I, right? And there's some of you on this screen, my buddy Kim knows how we work. Kim, you shore up the weaknesses that I have when we work together with your strengths, and my strengths shore yours up. And this is what we do, gang of mine. So let's discover another action and then operate through our strengths. And if you hang with me, I'm always going to talk about the best of you, your strengths, and let's operate and move out from there. I'm going to check the chat real quick before we go to you. Aaron, you said we only have 7. Yeah, I got something for you today, gang. All right. Yep, Izzy, you get it, right? This is how we do it. This is how we do it. We get to check each other out, not check each other. We're not here to fix each other. We're here to support each other. And your strengths, they support my weaknesses, and your strengths support my weaknesses, and my strengths support your weaknesses. And if we do that as a whole squad, oh my word, they can't mess with us in recovery, y'all. They can't mess with us in wellness. So because you've been so wonderful, and because Sharon gave me this platform today she's out of town spending money. She ain't fooling nobody. Because I'm here today and you are hanging out with me, you get a bonus tip. Huh? I bet you didn't get one in your last class, did you? No. So you get a bonus tip with me today. You ready? Here's today's bonus tip. And it says you get it because I love you. Here's your bonus tip for today. Live optimism and gratitude. And it doesn't say live in it. It says just live it. Let it be you. Let people see it. Let it come out your pores. Remember, we're talking about when things get tough in our wellness and recovery. This is the time to be so, you ready? Look, you want to be optimistic. So you want optimism, and you want to be gracious. You want gratitude. You want to be thankful. You want to be appreciative. You want to be humble. I know I do. It works. It works. Optimistic. Here's why you can be optimistic no matter what happens today, because you have gotten through so much and you got here today. So you've proven that when tough times come, you can get through them. We grieve, we mourn like everybody else. We get discouraged at times. Dark clouds do make things dark. But your life has proven you can get through it. And you've been through some of the toughest things. Now, I'm talking about you whose stories I don't know, right? We've been through some tough things, but we've also been through some good things. We have a full resume. So I get to be optimistic. I get to live in optimism. I get to reel in all of the good of life into my life. I get to reel it in. I'm not a fisherman, but I know what that's like. I get to throw that net out there, and all that good that has come in my life, I can be optimistic that good will happen again. And this is just me. This is just me. So nobody get offended, please. I'm a God man. I'm a firm believer that if it happened once, it can happen again. So if we think bad can happen again, then we've got to think that good can happen again. Right? If we're always looking for the other shoe to drop, right? What's something bad's going to happen? You know, Murphy's Law. I don't even know who Murphy is. I know Aaron's Law. Aaron's Law is that if it was good, it can be good again. Yep. And we can build and rebuild, and we can get through tough times. Our life resume has proven it. So I am optimistic. People ask me, Sharon, how you doing? I said, I'm well. All my days are good. I mean that. Whether I'm dealing with a gout issue, whether I'm dealing with a sinus issue, whether it was the day that my sister died, who I love so very much, whether it was the day my mom passed and I was with her when she died. It was a tough day, but it was a good day. Other people were born on the day they died. My family was there to support one another. Are you flowing with me? For me, I'm just so optimistic because so many good things have happened. Watch this, in my tough times. And so I can live a life. I can be a person of gratitude because I know what I've been through. I know what I've been through. And so I am so appreciative of just being alive today. I am so appreciative of all the good. I'm appreciative of you. I appreciate you coming on today. I appreciate you thinking I had something to say, because I do. And I appreciate you coming on. And I'm optimistic that something I've given you, something we shared, will help you. So here's your bonus today, because I love you. That's what it says. I wrote it down there. Live optimism. Live it. Live it. Because not only has bad things happened in your life, good things have happened in your life, or you wouldn't be here listening to me right now. So you get to live it. And it doesn't stop the fact that there's a possibility that bad things happen. But why do I have to stay on that side of the street when there is another side? So I'm optimistic that no matter what happens, the next thing is going to be good. And if that's not, then the next thing is going to be good. Then if that's not, Colonel Sanders, or whoever that guy was who took on the iconic role of Colonel Sanders, the man who started Kentucky Fried Chicken. I cannot remember the exact number. I used to teach it. I can't remember, but he said he went through, I think it was like 1,989, a bunch of no's before somebody took him up on his business plan. Do you know how pessimistic he must have had the opportunity to be? How pessimistic and how discouraged he could have lived. He could have lived life in pessimism and being discouraged. He could have just said, screw it. It ain't going to work for me. I might as well do something else. He remained optimistic, because every time you hear a no, that's one no you'll never have to hear again. And all you're looking for is the one yes. All you're looking for is the one crack in the door that you can put your foot in. All you're looking for is the one good day. You're looking for the one word from the doctor. You're looking for the one yes from an employer. You're looking for the one good report card from your child. We have something to build on. Live optimism and live gratitude. All right, I'm gonna stop playing with y'all, man. We gotta go. We got things to do, places to go, people to see. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of the comments. We're in here together. We're rolling as a squad. Disney did the same thing. Absolutely, right? There's so many stories of people who have just hung in there and been optimistic. And guess what? You and I get to do that too. Because if anybody can do it, it is us who live wellness and recovery. All right, I'm going to get you out of here. I just want to do this real quickly. Our warm line, free, confidential, 24/7, 833-390-7728. Our warm line, warm ears, peer support specialists on the other side of your calls. We're not an advice line. We're not a counseling service. We are people with lived experience who are ready and waiting for you to give us a call so you can share you with us. We can share what is needed of us to you, and just be able to help you have the best day today that you could possibly have. If you want to contact Sharon about the certificates for completing Keep Your Power, the 10 weeks, or you want to contact any of our staff, you want to find out more about Promise Resource Network, please call the front desk. Kim Porter, that's my buddy. Front desk, Monday through Fridays, 8 to 4:30, 704-390-7709. I got to say it. Operators are standing by. I love that. Kim Porter will be there. If you call after hours, after 4:30 or on the weekends, as soon as we get that voicemail message, we will make sure that we reach back out. I love you. I hope Sharon's proud of me. I'm her substitute teacher. And so this is Keep Your Power. This is Keep Your Power. And what we want you to do is to be able to keep your power. This is about the good, the bad, and the ugly of our emotions, always helping our emotions understand, always helping our emotions understand you belong to me, I don't belong to you. So you're going to do what I need you to do for my wellness and my recovery. I love you. I see you next time, 1:00. My family, Izzy and Karen, are going to come on, be my co-facilitators. We're going to talk good stuff about family wellness, and family healing. I love you. See you soon. Bye-bye.